Look. On my mama, I be hollin', I be stylin', I be wildin'. Slid out to the east, so now you know this bitch start rockin'. Taking mobs, girls, they was snitching, lands be blocking. Too late, I done hit.
Yo, we is back with another reaction. Today we got the story of young Pappy. If you want to see more, part 2, whatever, I'm doing 2 parts. Go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. We just gonna get right into it. See what this nigga talking about. The man's up.
Just because people used to come shit every day. This block, words can't even explain.
Young Money, man, he in the building. 600 boy, LA, man, LA Capone, man, get it to him, man. OC2 boys, man. TFG, number 9, man, number 9, the shooter, you hear me?
Yeah.
You have to be willing to die or go to jail for 100 years if that's the lane that you're stepping in. You have to understand that whether you 15, 16, you got to think like a man, you know what I'm saying?
Don't be in it. Oh, you're not? Why does everybody say you're only 16 years old?
They say what they want to say.
How old are you?
300.
The story of young Pappy.
Yes, sir.
Gonna make it out this shit. Right. Fuck. I'm not trying to none of that. Everybody gonna be tweaking. I'm not tweaking, bro.
People kill them, game bang. They done lost their homies, so they feel a certain type of way.
Homie, word to my homie, lonely, bitch go nigga back, wish a nigga would.
This is the story of young Pappy, one of the most requested stories from viewers. Pappy was one of the most talented rappers to come out of Chicago that many predicted would have a successful future ahead of him. Sadly, like many other rappers filled with talent from Chicago, the street took him before he got out of the hood. Pappy was one of my favorite rappers to come out of Chicago. His aggressive style that can be compared to King Von along with his insane flow. It was a type of
I don't know about that.
Get hyped too. Like L.A. Capone, young Pappy would have been on top of the world if he had been alive today, I'm sure. His rap style was unique. No one did it like him. However, Pappy was not only a rapper, he is also alleged to have been both a shooter and a killer. What he said in his songs can be linked to the reality he lived, which makes his music and story even more interesting.
Talk to me then, my boy.
His story as much as I do. Young Pappy, whose real name was Shaquan Jerome Thomas, was born on May 10th, 1995 in
Is that the Shaq nigga they be talking? Nah, that ain't him. I'm tripping.
Chicago, Illinois.
Just go ahead.
Shaquan was born on the south side of Chicago and lived on the 53rd together with the whole family, but then moved as a child with his family to the north side of the city. There he lived with his parents and 7 siblings.
Can y'all see me?
And 3 sisters, so they were a big family. However, I will only mention 3 of the siblings as the others are
not even playing a game.
So it feels unnecessary to mention the others. Pappy was the brother of Ryan, also known as BU Double, Davian, also known as Daysaf, and Jovan, who was the oldest. Both Taysav and BU Double are rappers today. As a child, however, Pappy's parents divorced and the brothers split up. Pappy and his big brother BU Double stayed with their mother Ingrid in Uptown, while his little brother Taysaf stayed in Rogers Park with their father. However, around the years 2010 and 2011, Pappy moved to Rogers Park to be with his father Ryan and little brother Taysaf. This move was actually the reason why Pappy became involved in the criminal life and became a member of the gangs that housed in the area.
Wish a nigga would try to run up on Pap. Hell yeah, I can fight. I run up the strap. I run a pole on a nigga.
As you all know, Pappy was a rapper, a really good rapper.
Sure, that nigga was hard for sure.
Pappy was drawn to music and hip-hop. In the household where he lived with his family, hip-hop was often played, which also characterized the entire neighborhood. Already as a 4-year-old, Pappy started playing with music. He started writing lyrics and rapping. His older brother, BU Double, also used to rap and write his own lyrics and actually taught Pappy how to do it. In an interview with Pappy's little brother, Saf, in the podcast No Jumper, he says that Pappy used to sit with a dictionary to learn new words and figure out which words rhyme with each other. In this way, Pappy learned how to play with words, which he would eventually become a master at doing. I personally think that this musical background Pappy had is a big reason why he was as good as he actually was. Many of today's rappers from Chicago started rapping 3 or 4 years ago, and their music is very much based on their reputation on the street. However, Pappy had been doing this since he was a small child, before he and his brothers even knew that street life existed.
Bro, I'm not this
As I
oil.
mentioned earlier, Pappy moved to Rogers Park to live with his father and little brother. Pappy's mother, Ingrid, said in an interview that Pappy was a good student with straight A's in grade school. Pappy did not start to get into trouble until high school. However, he was involved in petty crimes such as theft and fights, just as many other criminals begin their careers. Pappy went to Sullivan High School, which is located in Rogers Park. It was at that school, according to his mother, that he began to hang out with the wrong people who were already involved in gang life. This has seemed to be a pattern through all my videos about gang members and rappers. It is often when you start going to high school when their real problems begin. You become affiliated with the wrong type of crowd. Fights with other young people from other schools and areas begin as later leads to shootings and eventually murders, which leads to a vicious circle of killing. We have seen it on the south side between STL/EBT and O Block, on the east side between Black Mob and No Limit, and now the north side. Sullivan High School is a public school and not directly known as the best school in Chicago. Actually, the high school is ranked within the bottom 50% of all 3,672 schools in Illinois.
Damn.
730 students and only 36 classroom teachers. Less than 5% of the students achieved proficiency in math and reading/language, which is lower than the Illinois average of 35%.
Nigga, that is
As with many
horrible.
other schools in Chicago, there were often fights. Pappy ended up in fights several times, and there is also a video left on YouTube from 2011 where Laromac and Gene Omac from TFG fought with Santana from PBG.
Damn, you ain't gonna play it, my nigga? Just a little fighty fight. Niggas bad as hell. Oh my. Oh, you guys can see me now, right? When the lights up a little bit, you can see me now.
As you all know, Pappy claimed both TFG and PBG, mostly TFG though. According to Saf, Pappy was out on the streets with his brother BU Double in Uptown before moving to Rogers Park where PBG resides. It was in Uptown that he began to get to know several people who would later become TFG and who became his friends for life. That is the reason why he claimed TFG more than PBG. He was brought up in the TFG area in Uptown and was originally from the buildings on Lawrence. Pappy also used to sell drugs in Uptown with his brother BU Double even though he lived in Rogers Park. Pappy was really the one that later on brought TFG and PBG together. Much like Duck did with STL/EBT and Jaro, 051 and Mob. Don't get me wrong, TFG and PBG were still cool with each other before Pappy, but Pappy made them even closer to each other, just like M-Tang, D-Rose and King Von did with O Block and 600. You would be able to compare TFG and PBG's...
That's crazy, bro. How many of these niggas' name on this screen right now was either dead or in jail? That's fucked up for real.
Relationship with O'Block and 600. Pappy also went to school with several PBG and TFG members in Rogers Park. In order for you to understand the whole story better, I will now tell the story of PBG and TFG, why they were formed, who they are allied with and who they beef with. PBG, which stands for Pooh Bear Gang, is a large GD set in Rogers Park that has a large territory with Greenleaf as the north border, North Shore as the
Y'all wanna see my badge?
Ashland to the west and Glenwood to the east. The name PBG
Like, what the fuck?
Pooh Bear got shot and killed by Munchie and Murda from Lock City on January 20th, 2012. Pooh Bear Gang was created to honor his memory. His death caused several GD sets like B Block, G Block, Pratt Brats and Farwell Mafia to click up and form PBG. Pooh Bear was a member of the gang ICG, which was the original name of the gang, just as Wick City was the name before it became a block. However, they are a bit more fragmented. There are some people that only claim ICG and not PBG, and many new shorties from ICG do not even claim PBG since they did not know them. So you could say that PBG was a branch of ICG but which later became its own gang. You could compare it to when Taekwon World was at first just a branch of Jaro City, just like the 2-2 gang, but which later became its own gang. ICG stands for Insane Cutthroat Gangsters. However, they're not insane. They're renegade but not insane, just ICG by name. Between the 1970s and 80s, Rogers Park became one of Chicago's most vicious neighborhoods as several gangs from the west and south sides such as the Black P Stones, Brazers, Gangster Disciples,
Yeah, you better chill.
Latin Kings, Simon City Royals and Vice Lords.
Hold on, let me make sure this shit not too loud, yo. Hold on. Cause I'm gonna be pissed if it is. Hold on. It has stopping power. Niggas is so weird. Matter of fact, fuck this guy. Damn, that shit might not be loud enough. We back though, we back. Don't even
PBG
trip.
is a big set with a lot of members and generations that stretch back to the 70s, before it was PBG, back when it was called Farwell Family. PBG has multiple members with multiple bodies. They have people like Spaz, Sean, Bang Dahita, Chemo and Streets, all very close friends to Pappy. Pappy was also close to Pooh Bear. Pooh Bear's dad, Too Easy, was a big figure in Uptown where Pappy, BU Double, Laro, Sheen, Biggs and the rest of TFG are from, so a lot of people were close to Pooh Bear and therefore repped PBG. Pooh Bear was also a known killer and is said by many people to have killed at least 2 people from Slutty Boys.
That nigga look like a track star. No cap.
PBG is closely allied with DFG, OTE and SK and pretty much beefs with everyone around them. The different constellations have changed a lot on the north side over the years, just like on the south side of the city. Gangs have fallen out with each other, new wars have been created and gangs have found new allies. It is almost always a constant change in the gang wars. For example, TFG used to have an alliance with High City, but that ended in recent years. Another example is Hula Gang, who used to be cool with both TFG and PBG but is at war with them now. The reason for this was because a PBG and TFG members went on a drill together with a Hula Gang member. 5 from Hula Gang froze up and ran, which resulted in Troy from TFG getting shot and killed, allegedly by Itch from Lil 4 Mob in March 2015. Itch was later killed in November 2015 by King Shuda, Sheen and Don Don from TFG. That's a perfect example of how two gangs can fall out with each other. PBG's main rivals in the past have been Lock City and Lil 4 Mob. However, in recent times the focus has been mostly on Lil 4 Mob and High City. Lock City, or Loyalty Over Cash, is historically a GD set that has been around since the 90s and houses on Paulina, Howard and Juneway. However, nowadays, BDs who originally come from the south side have moved up north to link up with Lock City due to the fact that many have relatives there. Therefore, Lock City has become a rather mixed set in recent days. Lock City is a really deep set that is at war with PBG.
Damn, I forgot I restarted the
TFG,
video.
Birchwood,
I'm tripping.
OTE, SK and High City. Lock City's war with PBG sparked off in December 2008 when Freaky from ICG/LW got stabbed to death by Bleezy from Lock City and Montreal. Both was arrested for the murder. However, Breezy was freed from jail in 2011. Montreal is still locked up. According to rumors, it was Romeo from GVG who set Freaky up to be killed, and that's why Guttaville and ICG had fallen out.
Damn. Hold on.
TFG is a set of GDs in the area
Triple.
of Lawrence and Winthrop. Their boundaries stretch from Argyle to the north, Leland to the south, Broadway to the west, and Sheridan to the east. TFG has a long history that goes back to the 70s. Before TFG became a thing in 2009 to 2010, it was originally a Harrison Gents hood back in the 70s and early 80s. GD migration to Uptown took over the Gents numbers, and many Gents flipped GD or switched hoods.
Fuck it.
The area itself is very mixed, mostly with both black and white residents as well as a mix of rich and poor living together.
Y'all niggas not reading it anyway.
From the
Niggas listening just like I am.
Winthrop building, which is mostly a low-income building. TFG has a lot of members, many killers, robbers and whatnot. As you all know, Pappy Duel claimed his hood along with PBG. Even though TFG and PBG aren't as close as they used to be back when Pappy was alive, they are still allies and share the same enemies. TFG beef with Hula Gang, Lil 4 Mob, High City, Lock City, GVG/Day Day World and TBG. Some of TFG's main killers were King Shuda, Biggs, Savage Sheen and none other than Young Pappy, which may be a surprise for many people. Pappy really lived that life he rapped about, which makes his music even more interesting, because you know there is stories and real pressure behind the lyrics, much like King Von and L.A. Capone. Young Pappy is said to have been both a shooter and murderer.
LA like that?
Pappy, or rather the year 2012, when things really started to heat up, and Pappy, by the age of 17, became a shooter. Remember the date, January 20th, 2012, because it was the date when Pappy's close friend Pooh Bear, only 15 years old, from ICG got shot and killed by Munchie from Lock City. Police found Pooh Bear in the alley on Juneway Terrace with multiple gunshot wounds. Pooh Bear, whose real name was Anton Sanders, was taken to an area hospital where he was declared dead. Munchie and Pooh Bear actually used to be good friends with each other, even after Freaky was killed. But after several fights at Sullivan High School that later led to shootings, it ended with Munchie allegedly killing Pooh Bear despite the fact that Munchie still claimed that he's not on it with Pooh. Pooh was killed in the midst of trying to trade guns. However, just a few days before Pooh Bear was killed, he was mocking Lock City on his Facebook page by writing dialogues, F the ops. A body had not been dropped in 4 years between Lock City and ICG after the murder of Freaky. Now the war was started again, and it was actually the murder of Pooh Bear that was really the start of a decade of robbery, shootings and murders between the two gangs, and young Pappy would eventually take revenge on Lock City. This story will actually mostly be about Pappy, PBG, TFG, and the war with Lock City, since that was the war Pappy was focused on. He really hated them after what Munchie did to Pooh Bear and made that very clear in many of his songs. But of course there are also other important deaths with other gangs involved in the story, and as usual I will also go into different side tracks, but for the most part I will focus on young Pappy and the beef TFG PBG had and has with Lock City.
That nigga do not look 15. He look a decent 17. 18.
In the year 2012, Pappy spent most of the time in juvenile detention due to a gun charge, but since young Pappy was a minor at the time, there isn't any public documentation of it. This says a lot though. Pappy had started playing with guns and probably using them as well. When I said that the murder of Pooh Bear really sparked off the war between PBG, TFG, and Lock City, I really meant it. Just 2 days after the assassination, before even ICG had adopted the nickname Pooh Bear Gang to honor him and mourn him, ICG went on the hunt and killed 2 members of Lock City, Dion and John John. However, some claim that Dion and John John weren't members of Lock City and that they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. John John and Dion drove around in an SUV and stopped at a traffic light in the Rogers Park neighborhood. Suddenly shots...
Damn, I gotta stop raiding ahead, man.
Dion and the passenger, John John, were shot. They tried to drive away from the scene but crashed a short distance away. John John was pronounced dead on the scene, and Dion, who only got shot in the leg, was taken to St. Francis Hospital in Evanston where he was pronounced dead even though early reports originally said he was in fair condition. According to rumors, the alleged killers were D-Mac and Magic City from PBG. In 2015, Magic City was arrested on drug charges and was sentenced to 7 years in prison.
Magic City, I'm the owner. Tell Steve Harvey I don't wanna.
Once young Pappy came out of juvenile detention, he really started to get active in the streets. He was on the hunt for one specific member, Munchie from Lock City, or any Lock City member for that matter. Many people cannot accept that many rappers are actually with the shits, because they are so public and show off their personality that people cannot believe that they have actually done things. Best believe that the majority of the Chicago rappers actually raps about real things and do not lie in their raps. What I want to get to is that young Pappy was really with it. He talked about real life events in his songs. So when Pappy came out, he really went crazy, much like Von did when he came out of jail in 2012. However, on April 5th, 2012, PBG lost another member, James. James was gunned down in a drive-by shooting in the Rogers Park neighborhood. The alleged shooter in this murder was yet again Munchie from Lock City. James pleaded guilty to shooting a 9-year-old on June 26, 2009. The boy he shot happened to be the little brother of a Lock City member, which may be a reason why he was shot and killed by Lock City. So now Munchie had now dropped 2 people from PBG in the same year, just within a couple of months. PBG and TFG were now really out for blood. You could say that PBG were almost shocked by how pressured they were by Lock City. However, PBG, TFG, but especially Pappy would get their revenge. It would not come until a year after the murder of Pooh Bear and James. Now we come to the year 2013, the year Pappy turned 18. A lot of things happened in 2013 and the tables turned. Now it was PBG and TFG who started pressure Lock City, and people like Spaz, Bang Dahita, and not least Pappy himself started passing out a lot of smoke. On the 8th of June 2013, TFG would score on Hazel Mob, which would eventually result in the formation of Lil 4 Mob.
Hold on, bro. I don't know
Also
none of
known as
these
Lil 4
niggas.
was a 24-year-old 4.C.H.
Besides Pappy and
member of
Spaz that he
Hazel
said
Mob.
so far.
Lil 4 has, among other things, been suspected of shooting up Hula Gang and TFG. He was even arrested for a shooting back in 2011 where Lil 4 and Lontanius spotted a rival gang member and decided to open fire across the busy intersection. Whoever their target was got away. A young mother was not as lucky. She was shot in the leg. Her baby escaped the bullet by a matter of inches. Lil 4 was released a year later in February 2012. A little more than a year later after he was released, he was shot dead by TFG. Lito, Biggs and Laro from TFG are rumored to be the ones who killed Lil 4 and shot another person in connection with the murder. He survived. Biggs was only 13 at the time. Hazel Mob later adopted the nickname Lil 4 Mob to honor his memory. A few weeks later, after Lito allegedly killed Lil 4, he was shot himself. According to rumors, it was number 4 from Lil 4 Mob. Lito was taken to the hospital and fortunately he survived. PBG were still looking for Munchie, and in 2013 they were close to putting him away. Magic City from PBG caught Munchie outside and managed to shoot him in the wrist. Munchie luckily managed to run away and was able to take himself to the hospital where he received treatment.
Told us that already, nigga. I ain't gonna lie, I'm probably gonna cut this off at like 35 minutes.
Someone who was very active in 2013 was young Pappy from TFG.
How do I make the video even how
According to
long?
rumors, young Pappy shot Lucky from Lock City in his back and thigh. Fortunately, Lucky survived due to prompt treatment at the hospital. Young Pappy actually rapped about this situation in the song competition. He said the following: "Better ask Lucky what will happen when I drill shit. Like I said, better believe that most of the rap lyrics from Chicago are based from real-life events." Pappy was really a threat to his rivals already in 2013 and became an even bigger threat later on in his story. However, in June 2013, young Pappy was convicted of felony unlawful use of the weapon and sentenced to 2 years on probation. Pappy later violated that probation and was sentenced to a year in prison. However, he would have time to do even more in 2013, despite being sentenced to 2 years on probation. On July 5th, 2013, just one day after the 4th of July, the deadly violence continued. The PBG would finally get their revenge after the murder of James. Elliot Frazier, also known as Lily from Lock City, was shot to death in Rogers Park about 5:30 a.m. Friday. Police found him bleeding from gunshot wounds in the 7400 block of North Paulina Street, and he was sadly pronounced dead on the scene. 2 famous and notorious killers from PBG were allegedly behind the murder: Bang Dahita and Streets.
Niggas love ads. What till I get ads? I'm hitting niggas crazy. Oh God.
9 days later it was time again. PBG TFG would yet again score on Lock City. This murder has become well known to many people who follow the Chicago drill scene. Why, you might wonder? Well, because young Pappy was rumored to be one of the killers. It was on July 14, 2013 that young Pappy allegedly caught his first body. The victim who was murdered was identified as Blake Lamb of the 7600 block of North Bosworth Avenue, a well-known member of Lock City. Blake was walking on the sidewalk in the 1600 block of West Jonquil Terrace, in the Rogers Park neighborhood. A vehicle drove up next to the sidewalk and one or more people started shooting from inside the car. Blake got hit by several bullets which caused him to fall to the ground. Then one or two people jumped out of the car and stood over Blake and shot him 8 times in the face. Like many other murders in Chicago, Blake was brutally murdered. The people who killed him really wanted him dead and sent a message to Lock City. Just like I mentioned earlier, Pappy was one of the alleged killers along with Spaz, Face and Lil Sean from PBG.
Damn.
According to rumors, Spaz and maybe Lil Sean were the ones that jumped out of the vehicle to finish the job. It was really a gruesome murder and Blake was sadly pronounced dead on the scene. A Rogers Park resident, Christine, 38, said she heard at least 4 gunshots from her apartment about a block away from the park. She said she's seen Blake hang out in that park before with others about his age. Christine stated that she generally feels safe in her neighborhood, but in the summer, things can get really dangerous. The hotter, the more violent it gets, she said. Another resident in the Roger Park neighborhood, a 56-year-old man, who recently witnessed a shooting in the park along with his 10-year-old son, also stated that he and his son don't feel safe living in the neighborhood.
That boy got the fresh juice.
The disrespect towards Blake was gruesome after his death. Pappy mocked him multiple times in his song. In a freestyle that Pappy released in April 2015, about a month before he was killed, Pappy rapped, "Give you hollow tips, have your shit looking like Blake's face." There are actually a few indications that Pappy actually put bullets in Blake's body. Pappy's brother I talked about earlier, Sav, who is also a rapper, released a song called Letter to Pappy on the 31st of May 2016, basically a year after Pappy died. In that song, Sav rapped, "They should be mad because you rearranged their homie face," which seems to refer to the murder of Blake. Rumors that Pappy was one of the killers have been circulating since Pappy was alive, which may indicate some truth. However, there are people who claim that Pappy was on house arrest. Some people claim that he was there but did not let off any shots, and some claim that he was not there at all. The house arrest rumor is false. Pappy was on probation but not on house arrest. As with all murders, there are different theories about who was there. You decide for yourself what you want to believe. However, there is one thing that drops all these heinous insults towards Blake after the murder. Pappy and some other PBG members went back to the crime scene once the paramedics arrived, and took a video of Blake lying under the white sheet. According to the police, the PBG members got video of the body with the sheet over it while saying things like, "Come on. Get up, Blake. Get up. I thought you did not lay down for anyone." The video was posted on Facebook and other internet blogs but was later deleted and taken off the internet. The police were even questioning some of the PBG members, including Pappy, about the video.
Niggas is crazy.
You how your shit looking like Blake face, so take it easy. But you ain't that light easy. And my wrist.
The reason Blake
Don't
was
even
so
play
known as he
exploit.
actually was after his death was because he was actually a big member of Lock City. He was well respected across his neighborhood and was even rumored to have shot up PBG's hood several times, and also beat up and robbed people from that area. Blake was actually the first major body PBG caught from Lock City. Just like I mentioned earlier in the video, PBG had other bodies on the LZ at the time, but it was mostly low-key members, people who were not particularly active in the streets. Blake was the first time PBG made Lock City as a gang actually feel the pain they felt when Pooh Bear, Freaky and James died. This is the reason why they mocked him so much after his death. Lock City really felt it. Pappy remained active for the rest of 2013. In November it was rumored that young Pappy along with other PBG and TFG members shot up Day Day World several times and was specifically looking for a member named Lil Duke. Day Day World, or GVG Guttaville, is a renegade GD set with their main block located on Thorndale and Winthrop. The DDW area is very mixed with the Section 8 housings and wealthy expensive apartments. This makes it much harder for DDW members to post up outside. This was one of the reasons why Pappy had a hard time sliding on them and did it without success. Day Day World was a nickname adopted by GVG to honor a fallen member from GVG called Day Day, who got shot and killed on September 18, 2012. The killers were rumored to have been Bird from Hula Gang and Big P from Stoneville.
What's your thing? Maybe it's an idea, or a passion, or a...
Like, bro, relax.
Lil Duke is a real hothead from Day Day World, who really went crazy after Day Day was shot and killed in 2012. When he was only 14 years old, he was charged with an attempted murder and is rumored to have killed Timo from Hula Gang in July 2015 together with other members from GVG, Lock City and Lil 4 Mob. Lil Duke was and still is a rapper. He has released songs only since 2012 when Day Day was still alive. They used to be in the studio together to record music. For those of you who do not know, Lil Duke is a cousin of Duddy from PBG who was close to Pappy and several Jaro City and STL/EBT members since he was a cousin with FBG Duck. Sadly, Duddy was killed at the end of March 2019 by Wild Buddy, Urban Ant Dog from BLVD. Lil Duke, despite being in the rival gang, paid respect to PBG Duddy. Duddy and Duke were very close even though they were from rival gangs. Some even say that Duddy kept PBG from trying to kill him after the murder of 2 Cups. Lil Duke and Pappy had a very personal beef with each other. However, it is difficult to know how and exactly when it started. Both have mocked one another in songs back in 2013 and 2014. In Lil Duke's remix of the song Hang With Me, he rapped, "Lil Pappy you think you gangster, saying he gon' stretch me, I'm ready, I keep it on me." Young Pappy also mocked him and Day Day in the song Competition, which was released in December 2013. In that song Pappy rapped, "F Day Day, him hot as shit along with F Lil Duke, these shots for him." That song was released just a month after 2 Cups was killed, allegedly by Lil Duke himself. After Pappy's death, Lil Duke continued to mock him even more and was incredibly hated by Pappy's fans. TFG and PBG were and still are desperate to get him. There are also rumors that Duke and other Day Day members had sexual intercourse with Pappy's sister back in 2013. At least Duke stated that was the case on his Facebook page. However, what many do not know is that Lil Duke and Pappy used to be cool to each other. Pappy used to hang out with them on their block. Like I said earlier in my videos, it's incredibly common for rival gang members to be friends when they were younger. Pappy and Munchie also used to be cool with each other. In a side note, Lil Duke was actually close to getting killed in 2012 when he got shot in the chest by Skrills from Hula Gang. Fortunately, he survived.
man, no look Pappy. You think you gangsta, say you gon' scratch me, I'm ready. I keep it on me, boy, that shit addy.
Hey, y'all see that though, my boy? LMAO, remember when the guys called the Pappy sister to the trap?
Just like I mentioned before, it was rumored that young Pappy and
This nigga always
TFG
doing
had shot
that
up Day
shit.
World numerous times in November 2013. This led to Day World and especially Lil Duke, since he had a personal beef with Pappy, to take revenge on TFG and Pappy. Just as I mentioned before, it was rumored that young Pappy and TFG had shot up Day World numerous times in November 2013. This led to Day World and especially Lil Duke, since he had a personal beef with Pappy, to take revenge on TFG. During a chat on December 1st, 20-year-old Mensa Kaifel, also known as Two Cups, told his dad he'd be taking
Two
a friend in
Cup.
a wheelchair to the Social Security office the next day. Jaliabari, Mensa's father, did not think much of it. His oldest son had always liked helping people, he said. The next day, Mensa's mother saw him at 9 o'clock eating his breakfast. That was the last time she saw him. According to the police, Mensa, along with his friend, whom the police did not mention by name, but I know it was Lito from TFG, were
Nigga,
standing
how you
near
know?
the intersection of North Broadway and West Glen Lake Avenue when a light-colored van pulled up. It is rumored that Lil Duke hopped out and opened fire, striking both Two Cups and Lito. He then hopped back into the car and sped away from the scene.
Damn,
Two
he was
Cups rushed
terrorizing
to
them
St.
niggas. What
Francis
the
Hospital
fuck?
in Evanston, where he was pronounced dead. Lito was taken in serious to critical condition to Advocate Illinois Medical Center. Fortunately, Lito survived. However, a source said that the person who began shooting at the men may have been in a wheelchair, which doesn't make sense since other witnesses have stated that a gunman hopped out of a van. However, Ken Anderson, who owns a shop nearby, said that he saw 3 men, including one in a wheelchair, speaking to each other. It happened so fast, there was some type of altercation, gunshots, and we saw the 2 guys running west.
Nigga was
The man
sliding
who
on a
worked at the
wheelchair?
restaurant tried to help the person in the wheelchair who may have been shot in the hand or wrist. My guess is that Two Cups was there with Lito along with the person he helped with the wheelchair when a van pulled up and Lil Duke hopped out and shot them up. The others in the van are rumored to have been Nana and Uno from GVG. I have also heard that the intended target in this shooting was actually Lito, who was an outstanding member from TFG. He was the one that allegedly created Lil 4 Mob, which I mentioned earlier in the story. Lito was killed this year about a month ago, and he was the brother of Big Red, who was killed in 2015.
Feel like you're being watched? Hackers can steal what's on your devices or see what you send over Wi-Fi. Keep prying eyes out using Norton 360 with a VPN for online privacy and more.
Now let me get eyes, bro. Can't wait.
Young Pappy was totally heartbroken after the death of Two Cups. They were extremely close, and Pappy later dropped 3 mixtapes named Two Cups, Part 1, 2 and 3 to honor his friend's memory. Part 3 was released after Pappy's death. The first mixtape was dropped in August 2014 and really became an iconic mixtape. Much like Finally Rich, Welcome to Fazoland and Free Crack. The mixtape contained iconic songs like Competition, where he dissed Lil Duke, Shorty with the 40, Old Slaves, where he mocked Blake with the line "We made Blake block with a face shot," and not least the song named after his fallen friend, Two Cups. He started the song by saying "R.I.P. to my big brother Two Cups." Two Cups was a known drug dealer in the area and brought in a lot of money, which Pappy referred to with the text, "They took my big brother Mensa." I'm thinking, like, why? Was it the money? Was it the cars? Was it the way he was stunting? Was he flexing too hard? Was it the way he was finessing, trying to stack or starve? Pappy was really a lyrical mastermind, along with having a masterful flow and a charisma much like King Von. My personal opinion is that young Pappy deserves incredibly much more credit when it comes to music. After the murder of 2 Cups, TFG adopted the name Mensa Mafia, Mensa Millionaires, and 2 Cups Gang to honor his memory.
Alright, first part, 43 minutes. Both should be around the same time. If y'all enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. Get this to 8 likes. 8 likes, I'll drop part 2 the same day. Y'all go ahead and like this up. Peace. Tired as hell.
And took my cousin, all I seen was him in blood. Shit was trippy when I got the call, we just fucked up the club. 100 shots inside the hot, bro took me right there where he was. Left his face stuck in his lap like he was leaning off the mud. Broski schooled me to that murder, shit ain't been right ever since. Fuck the states and CPD, go tell a judge I plead the 5th. Ain't got no convo for no cops, they use my words for evidence. We